Hi friends, welcome back. I'm Elaine and I'm living with autoimmune disease. Last week was super busy. Monday afternoon, I went for a PFT at the hospital. I am a patient at a teaching hospital, so I had to go to admitting, get admitted, do my PFT, and then turn around on Tuesday morning, drive back to Los Angeles, and have an appointment with the rheumatologist. Now, why am I telling you this? Because I get asked quite often how I'm able to take all this time off of work to tackle the appointments that I have for my chronic illness or my autoimmune disease. And I thought I would share with you a little bit about how I'm able to do that, what programs I use in case you are working and you find that the numerous medical appointments we have are getting to be a lot, or maybe your employer is starting to give you pushback. I wanted to share that there are programs that we can use that protect us and protect our job. So if you don't know already, I do work full-time. I'm a legal secretary, and that job is 40 hours a week and quite demanding. If you're curious what my workday looks like, I did bring you all along with me during Vlogtober, so I will link that down below. But as my autoimmune condition has evolved, I have had more and more appointments, and I've also had to take periods of time off of work. Now that can get kind of financially tough if you are, relying on your income, which I think most of us are. I mean, we're not working for fun. So the first time that the rheumatologist told me I needed to step back from my career and take some time off, concentrate on my health, I was a little worried because I didn't know how we were gonna make ends meet. My salary is important to keeping our household running. I was terrified, but I knew I needed to take time off because my health was in a situation where it was that or I was going to sink. So the first bit of information I'll share with you is about taking a leave of absence from your employer. I want to backtrack a little bit with saying that I work in the state of California. I work for a large company, so we do have an HR department and we have different programs in place. Your employer or your state might vary. This is my experience as a California employee. So the first thing that happened was my doctor wrote an off work slip. I took that to my manager, presented it to her. She presented it to HR. Now, I do know that you can leave your manager out of the process and go straight to HR, but I think if you have a good relationship with your manager, you want to keep them in the loop. In California, we have something called California State Disability. So you want to apply for that right away. There is a waiting period, and your doctor will need to fill out that form and submit it to the state of California so that it can be reviewed and processed. My company offers short-term disability and long-term disability as well. Those are a benefit to us, but I know that some employers, you can sign up for those programs. If you have chronic illness, I highly suggest that you sign up for both short-term and long-term disability because we never know what's gonna pop up. And that is actually a benefit and a good thing to have because they will cover your salary should something happen. The way my short-term disability works is that I had to apply for California State Disability and I contacted the short-term disability company as well. It's an insurance company. They also required a form from my doctor to be filled out and reviewed to see if the claim would be accepted or not. There's things that need to be submitted. So this is a medical claim. So you are going to have to sign a HIPAA agreement that your doctor can release your medical records, blood stuff, all of that. So my doctor submitted all of my medical reports, the blood work that was going on at the time. We submitted that to the short-term disability insurance. Now, I will say the state of California was much easier with the form than the short-term disability insurance. For me, the short-term disability made up, so California State Disability covers you for a portion of your salary. It is not your full salary. But short-term disability will make up whatever you're missing, at least for the first, I think, couple weeks, couple months. There's so many weeks. This is all variable for whatever your coverage is. And honestly, I'm not going to get into all the logistics of it because I really just want to tell you about the programs that are out there. Short-term disability makes up whatever California disability is not paying me. And then after so many weeks, I think it's like 3 months, you are booted off of short-term disability and you're put on long-term disability, which is like 70% of your salary. You might be thinking, oh, that's a hit in my pocketbook. But remember, disability is not taxed. So you're not paying tax on the disability that you're receiving. So the truth is, it kind of works out to all be the same. Concurrently with your coverage that you're getting that covers your finances, you will file for, in the United States, this is totally a United States video, there is something called FMLA. That's not anything that's going to provide payment or financial income to you. However, it protects your job while you're out so that your employer cannot let you go while you're out on medical leave. Hopefully this makes sense. So FMLA will be filed concurrently with your medical leave so that your job is covered. Now, if your employer is offering you just disability and financial stuff, you want to make sure to ask about FMLA and getting that filed. I'm going to link you down below the Department of Labor, the FMLA information, so that you can read it and decipher it yourself. I'm really just giving you Elaine notes, and I'm dyslexic, so you really don't want to probably rely on me for all the logistics of it. FMLA works every 12 months, so you get that protection for 12 months. And when you get back, if you need to leave again, say it's been over a year, you can file for that FMLA again. Now let's get to the part where I leave my employment sporadically through the week to go to medical appointments, or if I'm flaring and need to take a day off. A lot of patients find there is a struggle with their manager, boss, whoever it is, that they give you a hard time when you have a medical appointment, or they say, oh, you can't go because so-and-so's already off. Now, how do we tackle that? Especially when we have things like infusions that need to be scheduled in a timely fashion, or there is only one MRI slot open and you can't change the day. You have to go to that appointment. FMLA not just comes as a block of time, but you can file intermittent FMLA. Intermittent FMLA is what covers you for those sporadic appointments. And you don't have to take it as a block of time for 3 months. You're given so many hours through a 12-month period, and you can use those as you need to. Your employer cannot harass you for taking time off for medical stuff, and they have to approve that time. You work with an insurance company who does the FMLA portion of it, and you pretty much tell the insurance company, I need this time off for whatever, medical appointments, I'm flaring, and then you report it back to your boss or company. FMLA is not about financials. So if you want to be paid, you're going to have to use your paid time off or take it without pay. That is pretty much just there to guarantee that you can take time off for appointments without being harassed. It's covering you, it's covering your employer, so that they know, and your boss doesn't need to know your exact condition. You're dealing with the insurance company. Now, your doctor will need to fill out a form indicating why you need intermittent FMLA. For me, I'm an infusion patient. Obviously, I have autoimmune disease. So I use intermittent FMLA to be able to tackle the appointments that I have to. But then, hey, what happens if I can't drive? Okay, so I have an eye issue that is related to my autoimmune disease. I have to go get my eyes dilated. LA is a pretty far drive. I need David to drive me back. Need the moral support of having David at my infusion appointments with me. The question is David covered under FMLA? Good question. Yes, there is caregiver FMLA. If you have a caregiver who is helping you drive to appointments, being your moral support, listening at your appointments, caregiver FMLA is filed through the caregiver's company. So the caregiver will contact their HR department and find out who the insurance company is, get the forms, and file for caregiver FMLA. Now, they're covered for the same period of time that the patient is covered. However, theirs is going to look more like, what actions do they perform for the patient that is required for them to take this time off? And your doctor, the patient's doctor, will fill out that form for the caregiver who's applying because they know the patient. So the medical stuff on the paperwork for David actually applies to me, and I had to sign a release of medical records, provide that to my husband's insurance company. But I do think it's hard sometimes for patients who are working to be able to figure out how we are able to take this time off without feeling harassed by our manager or feeling worried we're going to lose our job due to appointments. FMLA will be approved for a certain period of time. So be sure to let the doctor know, whoever is filling out that form, exactly how many appointments you have a month, what infusions you're doing a month, how many flare days you have, so that they can actually write on the form exactly what you need. So if it's like, maybe you need 2 half days off during the week. Now, you don't have to take those, but if they're approved, you're able to do that without losing your job. I know this video doesn't apply to everyone. I wanted to share because I had no idea, and that first medical leave I had to take, I felt so scared and I didn't really know how to get advice. Is it absolutely the easiest thing in the world? No. But is it terrifying and treacherous? Not really that bad either. Now, filing for Social Security disability is a whole different beast, and I don't know anything about that because I'm still working. So I've heard horror stories about that. I can't share anything. But I have heard there's a very good law group called ALSUP, I think it's called. I'll link it down below in case you're going through the whole Social Security disability thing and kind of looking for resources. All right, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a patient. This is my experience with using these programs. So California State Disability, Short-Term Disability, Long-Term Disability, and FMLA. Those are the programs I have used or am currently using. So I wanted to just share with you a little bit. So if you find yourself in this situation where you have multiple appointments a week, that you can easily go to those appointments without fearing losing your job. I will share that I was with my employer before I got sick. So I've been with my employer 19 years, and I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis about 3 years into my employment. I don't know that I can help with any specific questions, but like I told you, I'll leave you the website down below for FMLA, and I'll leave you the link for the lawyer who seems to be really good for Social Security disability. If you know of any other programs that maybe I missed because I'm just a California employee, let me know down below. Maybe it might help somebody in our community who's looking elsewhere or maybe even abroad. I don't know how things work in other places. I know we have friends on here from the UK and Australia and Canada, so maybe if you all know how things work in your country, you can share a little bit down below so that we just get some good resources out to people who maybe need them. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed and you'd like to come along on my adventure, I would love to have you. The more friends, the more better. Please hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free. It's not a membership. I would love to have you. And by subscribing, you'll know when I upload. Thank you for watching, and until my next adventure, go have yours.